When I got into goats, I bought two goats to begin with. I bought them from a lady, just a precious lady named Kathy over in Adel, Iowa. And Kathy has a really nice setup. And when I purchased these goats, we interacted on a very personal level. And I asked Kathy, I said,
You and the goats, or you and Kathy?
well, me and the goats later, but Kathy and I to begin
Now,
with.
you might
I
better.
had just met the goats. How could I have? How could I say what were the goats?
You might better explain to Kathy, because Kim could be watching this.
Kim was with me.
Kim was with you. Okay, we're with
So,
you now.
so Kathy became my mentor,
Yeah, good.
and so Carrie and I, my daughter and I, and Kim, when we have goat questions for the first 2 years, we called Kathy, and the thing that I found out, Kathy told me, said, always call. We share information. You call, and she was my mentor. I've bought several goats, gone back and bought several more goats from her, and so then I found other things that I want to do. So hey, I wanted to figure out how best, what do I need to put on, when do I need to put it on, what's the best way to use a herbicide on my hay field, what's the best what's the best time to add fertilizer or lime, and so I found me a mentor for that. And then just this year was our first year to attempt corn, and I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about growing corn. We're want to get to where we can grow some of the products ourselves, where we mix our own feed and have our own custom food source for. I found me a mentor for that. And so what I realized was I learned best by not being afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
And I would call Kathy about stuff, and she'd say, well, it's really nothing, just do this or whatever. And I called Ed about my hay, and he would say, Jeff, if it were me. First thing he told me was, I said, Ed, I just, need some advice. He said, it's very simple. If you want to be a successful farmer, watch what I do and then do just the opposite. But no, he was very, very gracious in giving me information. And then I have this wonderful friend, just a tremendous young man, Dan, who not only was willing to share his information, but share labor. And he came over and really helped me. And it's amazing because I learned so much by watching them and listening, and they're willing to share that information, even though in some real small way you may be their competitor. Like with Kathy, we would sell our goats at the same market.
Uh-huh.
But she still wanted me to have a good, healthy herd. With Ed, potentially, I was selling hay to Ed, and when we talked about pricing the product, Ed was very, very open and honest about it. And he said, Jeff, here's what I'm paying other people, but you research yourself and set your own price, and then me and you will deal. But I'm not going to set the price that I should pay because it's not fair to you. And so what I've learned, and I've taken that lesson in life, and I've learned that to be successful, I don't have to know everything. I have to know people that know things.
Right.
In other words, I need people around me that are successful at things that I may not be successful at, that know things, and then I need to tap into them as a resource, and of course be also in the areas I have experience in, try to be that same thing to other people. But I've come to understand, and in my role as a pastor, this was so beneficial to me. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to have every answer.
Right.
And it's okay for me to say, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Exactly.
But I do have people around me that I can gain and use as a resource to gain that information, to come back and try to be proactive and to be valuable in that particular circumstance. You learn these lessons just through life as you begin to participate in other areas that are so applicable in every part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage. If I was someone out there right now, if a young person they just started out their marriage and they're like don't even know what marriage is supposed to be like, and maybe you're having an issue, I would find me a mentor. I'd find me somebody that I could go and ask questions.
Well, I've been to some marriage seminars and read relationship books, and what I think about it is that we always wait, or we tend to wait until there's a problem to go do it. But these marriage seminars, and they can be fun if you're not having problems in your marriage.
Yeah, that's true.
Seek out these seminars. Your wife will, gentlemen, if you'll search it out for yourself. Don't just mention it to your wife and let her search it out. But if you'll search it out for yourself, and you want a good Valentine's present for your wife, surprise her with a marriage seminar.
Yeah, absolutely.
She'll love it. She'll love it. It's good information. It's not. It's an open situation, usually with a group of people, and you're not sharing your utmost secrets. You're just there learning and having a good time with other couples. And
this is one of the most valuable relationships in our life, and often we spend more time practicing our golf swing than we do our marriage. And
right.
Both are valuable. I mean, you gotta have a good golf swing, but it's it's kind of hard to have a good golf swing when you go through separation and divorce, and she takes your clubs.
That's
so
right.
it's better to go to the seminar.
And Ed, I think it was Ed, you mentioned that it said, watch me and don't do what I do.
Yeah.
That goes back to not just our children, but young people that have children, and they're young and they start building a family. Older people who have already built a family, whether it's your parents, your grandparents, or good friends that have already raised their children, they not only have learned from the right things they've done, they've learned from the wrong things they've done. So don't ignore their advice, don't overlook it or disvalue it. They have truly learned something, most likely, even from the mistakes they made. And you don't have to repeat all those same mistakes. You have a mentor, like you said.
That's exactly right. And if I were going to capsulize all that I've talked about and have thought about in this scenario, I would tell you that when I did get that property and my dream became to own a farm, what I did was I began to develop a dream team. Everybody needs a dream team. When you have a dream, you gotta have a dream team.
Yeah.
I began to pull people into my life that would help me reach my dream. My children, my son and my daughter, invested financially in the purchase of the property for different reasons. My son loves to hunt. He wanted it for hunting. My daughter likes to hunt a little bit, but she loved the idea of owning property, and then she loved the idea of maybe owning some animals, not necessarily owning a farm, but
Right.
And then her dream became part of that, and so now I'm part of her dream team, helping her dreams come true. But I put together this dream team. My mentors are part of that dream team. I've got my co-op, who I have a line of credit with, that they give great advice on herbicides and pesticides, and you can take in your soil samples to them, and they'll send them off, get them back, and tell you what's missing in your soil, what nitrogen levels are, and what your P level is, your K level is, and all of that. And then I have the local FSA office, who gives out a lot of free information. They'll sign you up for all kinds of different programs based off what your land situation is. And so I created this dream team, my wife being the closest partner to me in that dream team. And that dream team is now working to make my dream come true. And as I said, after that, I'm part of my daughter's dream team, because she has a dream about farming and animals and so forth. So, and it applies to every portion of your life. Whatever your dream is, create around you a dream team.
Yeah.
Pull people into your life that can help you see your dream come to fruition. If it's a business, surround yourself with people who can make your business dream come true. And I'm not talking about using people. I'm talking about having resources in your life that benefit you. I'm not talking about being manipulative and all of that.
Yeah, even if you have to pay for them.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with paying for your dream team.
Yeah.
But if you do this, what you find out is that the workload is spread out over a lot of people. You have a brain trust around you where the thought process is spread out over a lot of people. So, for instance, the guy that helps me with my corn crop and such, he's very good at knowing how to grow commodities, beans or corn or whatever. And I might pose a question to him that I've been thinking about for a couple of weeks and really just can't quite work through it. Well, it might take him a week to get back to me, but we've shared that brain trust, that brain load, and he's become part of my brain trust, and now he gives me that answer. Whatever aspect of your life, pull people in to be part of your dream team.
Right.
And then when you do, it just balances your life out, and you don't have to do the heavy lifting all the time.
Well, sadly it's time to call into it again. We could go on and
Oh,
on, couldn't
yeah.
we? But let's recap some things we discussed and learned today. And yeah, unfortunately, we don't have time to discuss the. I've worked out there with you for 3 years and broke every year broke a major piece of equipment. So
But-
I won't get into that.
But again, this year you went out and repaired equipment.
That's right.
So
That's right. I'm learning.
Yeah, and you're part of my dream team now.
There you go.
You picked up hay last year. You picked up hay this year.
So some things you brought out was build a dream team.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't got to be the smartest guy in the room.
No.
Ask for advice.
Yes.
Take other people's advice. Whatever you need to do to educate yourself on what your dream is, you need to do it. There's sources out there everywhere. What are some other things you brought
Boundaries.
out?
Boundaries. Good fences make good neighbors.
And one thing I would add to that is don't let others set your boundaries.
Yes, that's right.
You need to determine your own
Absolutely.
boundaries.
Yes.
If you're not comfortable with theirs, say so.
That's great advice. You're
And,
absolutely right.
If their boundaries too stringent, you may have to go home
Yeah.
somewhere else in
Yeah.
a relationship.
That's
or whatever.
exactly right.
But if good neighbors are people that agree on boundaries,
That's right.
and if your boundaries are a little bit more stringent than mine, well, I have a choice to agree with that or not. And what else? There was something else you brought out.
Well, we talked about making hay, goal setting, making hay while the sun shines.
Yeah.
Don't miss the opportunities. Let your task be driven, or at least let them be flexible enough to fall into whatever opportunity arises.
See, here's a problem that I've had in my whole life is, and you've taught me today or discussed this today is, you can't always look so far ahead that you don't see today.
Mm-hmm.
I've been good at working towards a dream and working towards being successful, but sometimes I've sacrificed today. And there are days that the sun is shining and it's nice weather and you got work you can do, but you and Kim get out on the out there and just sit in with the sun going down, just watch the animals and.
That's right. Yeah, if you can't somewhere along the line enjoy the dream, and stop and take in a part of the enjoyment of the dream, working for the dream is it really is. It's not profitable.
Right.
And then you talked early on about how that us going through taking on tasks that were very difficult, it was made easier with the relationships, having those friends in our life.
Right.
That was so important.
Right. And that goes with so many different things. I have a friend in Kansas City. just a wonderful friend that I don't get to see her as often as I'd like, but we used to just get together for dinner pretty often just to talk about discuss our issues in dating. You know, I'd give her warnings about men, and she'd give me things to watch out for with women. So we both had a different, come at it from a different perspective, but it was really good. I needed her and she needed me, and it just built such a strong friendship. So
I've also realized in farming, you really have to be clear when you speak. The other day, someone thought I said, "I hate that pig," and I said, "No, I ate that pig." Well, it's been good. Great conversation today. We've enjoyed being with you again. For Common Sense Cafe, I'm Jeff.
and Kevin.
Until next time.